we have to have a culture where we become used to like releasing things, because in the act of releasing things that hold us in an old vibration that doesn't feel good, right? One that people say, I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want my life to be this. I don't want it to include this. Then we have to be willing to like release the things that are no longer in alignment, right? It's not like people go, oh, I want to get in alignment, but I don't want to get rid of anything in my life, right? I want to have the same boyfriend that doesn't work, this relationship that isn't working. And I just want to, can't I force that into alignment? Can't I keep him and, you know what I mean, somehow make this work? And so we have to be real with ourselves. We have to get into truth. I mean, that's what I really help people see, is like the bigger picture of truth, that sometimes we've eluded ourselves. Like we're just like, I can't look over there and I don't want to, we don't even realize it. And so when we start getting into greater truth, we start seeing like, okay, what needs to be released, whether it's like a mindset, a person, just all kinds of things in our life. And that's a process of getting to that truth. That doesn't happen overnight. We don't just look at our whole life and go, right, I need to get rid of these 25 things. We come upon it as we go deeper and deeper into our truth. So there's a process, and we kind of start surrendering and letting go and realizing that, oh, as I release this, I allow space for this to come in. And all of that is moving us into alignment. So, when I connect with the energy of people that I'm working with, I'm basically, it's like a massive intention. I'm setting an intention to align that person to their highest soul frequency possible in this lifetime. So everybody has a different scale of what they can align to. And that intention, I hold energy with that person through the whole process, right? Of working with them, which takes a lot of physical energy, to do. Like a lot of people don't stay connected, right? Throughout. It's like you connect and you go away, you connect and you go away. And I'm just realigning. And so aha moments come up for people through that realignment. We don't really always realize what's going on underneath the scene, or like underneath the surface, or what I'm doing in the background. But that's how we shift our vibrational frequency. And then of course, when our frequency shifts, like authentically, not because we're forcing something, then new things just start showing up in our life. So I think people look at it incorrectly, in that they want to force new things into the frequency that they already exist at. And I don't have anything to do at all. People want to think that I do, but I actually don't have anything to do with what comes in, right? Like they're like, can you make this come into my life? I don't make that come into your life. I align you to a frequency where that's naturally going to flow into your life if it's in your best and highest, right? If it's a soul and heart desire, not an ego desire, then we naturally have that. And then that is possible in our life. So it's something that, like you said, it's just who I am. Like I never learned how to do this. There's no methodology or thing that I've been taught, or certification program or anything like that. In fact, I've largely stayed away from outside education, because I really, as this started to show up in my field that I could do this, I wanted to just go deep into like, what is this? What is this unique expression of me in this lifetime? And how can that affect other people's lives? So I've just been in deep, learning of with my guides and my higher self, like about what is possible for people. But it's pretty extraordinary to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's extraordinary to feel.
Yeah,
I think it definitely triggers, and we've talked about this, where I'm like, I've had people come into my space who are like, well, I don't like this format because like, what are we learning? What are the lessons? And I'm like, that's not how we do this. Like, we don't plan anything. We're like looking at what's coming up, and people really want to stay stuck in that paradigm of like, well, I need to know what's the curriculum. Like, what are we covering this week, next week? Are we talking every single week at this time? And that's really limiting. And yeah, it's just like really, really limiting. And I feel like that's how people hold themselves back from like the biggest breakthroughs. Cause it's like, oh, you want to talk about this on week 3, but like, we're really supposed to be talking about this. And that could lead you to the bigger shift more quickly.
And that's really all that is a manifestation of I'm not safe in my heart space. So when we move into our linear logical mind, it's because at some point in our experience in this life or in past lives, or many times, we have felt like I need to close my heart space. I need to close we close our intuition when we close our heart space. and I'm not safe feeling into things. So then we move that energy from our heart, which our heart has such a big energetic field, but we move that energy up to our mind, which again, society is like, loves that, right? Like, you should be smart. And we start really, like, if you imagine that your brain has a certain amount of energy and your heart has a certain amount of energy, when we take all the energy that belongs in the heart and put it up towards our brain, our linear logical mind, and we say, I'm going to move all my decision-making process to my brain and my mind, this thing runs on overdrive, right? Your head is just like boom, boom, boom. So if people that have trouble like stopping thinking, or they feel like they have really circular, thoughts, all that kind of stuff, that's just evidence of like, I'm running all my energy up to my brain. And then when we do that, because we don't feel safe in the moment when we're doing that, we make choices. Like, we need to know what's A, what's B, what's C. Like, we need to know what's coming down the line, because we don't have self-trust, right? And we don't have access to our own intuition to feel into the moment. And so that makes us really active in our head, right? Really active. And this is a byproduct of society too. Like, this isn't just like you made a choice about this. So it's just interesting. Like, I hope people like bring some of that energy back into their heart space and be able to like learn to feel safe, right? In our heart space. Because we can't really live our soul-led life without our intuition and feeling into moments. The brain is actually supposed to support the heart, not flip-flop. So yeah, it's an interesting time, because a lot of people are really, if you were living, like, if we were having a conversation 20 years ago, a conversation, it would be obviously different. There wasn't as much energy behind this, meaning like people are really going to feel the push to approach some of these topics and to look at them in their life. And sometimes it's kind of like frustrating, because if we want to hide out and then we feel this push behind us, we're like, wait a second, I don't want to look at this, but we feel like we're being pushed, right? A little bit. And that's just a byproduct of, the energy on the planet and all the changes going on.